Hello, everybody. This is Progressive AF. This is Cameron Williams with my co-host,
Marc Girdler.
And my other co-host,
Justin Weaver.
Along with our executive producer, Travis
Hatfield, yep.
All right, and we are here to have another episode on the progressive issues that are pertaining to us in this world. Our first issue that we are planning on talking about today is the most well-known issue, I believe, right now, currently, is the impeachment trial on Donald Trump. We all know that it's going on right now. The Democrats are making their argument saying that Donald Trump broke the law several times. I mean, many of the things that Donald Trump has broken the law on haven't even been brought up in this trial. They're just focusing on the collusion with Ukraine on trying to get information on Joe Biden. That's what they're focusing on right now. Donald Trump clearly broke the law, but the Republicans are stonewalling, saying that he did nothing wrong, or that not that he didn't do anything wrong, but that what he did wrong wasn't impeachable. That's the biggest thing. He broke the law, but it's not impeachable. That's what the Republicans are pushing.
Yeah, I take some serious offense to that, I guess, because there are several impeachable offenses in there, and they're all serious. Starting with emoluments, he's directly profiting off of his station as president.
Oh yeah, man! The way that he wanted to bring the summit or whatnot to his hotel, and it was quite obvious. Hey, we should do this at the Trump Hotel because it's a great hotel, right? It's just one way that he gets favors from these higher up political officials. If you come stay at my hotel, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal. A lot of people say that if you want to get on Trump's good graces, you gotta come stay at this hotel and give him something, or else he won't be for you.
Yeah, 3 words could really sum up how Trump views this presidency, and that's quid pro quo. He thinks that if you want to get something from him, you should be giving to him. If the Ukraine is going to get their military aid that was already agreed upon, well, you're going to have to do a favor for me. Now, I actually have heard some conservatives saying, oh, well, what's wrong with that? Okay.
They start talking about we do that all the time. Who was it who said it? It was... I can't remember what his name was.
Well, first off, those are not his resources. These are not Trump's resources. It's one thing if he was paying them out of his own money, but this is our aid. The taxpayers paid for this. So he's essentially appropriating our money for his own benefit. That's theft. So
it's theft from us. He withheld the aid. It's clear that he withheld the aid. Some people are like, oh, we do that all the time. He didn't withhold the aid. It was already given to Ukraine. The aid was already given to Ukraine. Then he told his people, hey, wait on holding that until specifically Ukraine goes on TV and announces that they're doing an investigation into Joe Biden. And he said, I'll give you the aid. And then immediately after he started getting investigated for the aid, he released it. Come on. It can't be more obvious that the guy did a quid pro quo and that he broke the law.
Well, some of them are even saying, they're not even denying any of the wrongdoing. They're just saying you cannot, you can't prosecute a sitting president despite precedent for, people being impeached. They're not even trying to pretend.
Russian investigation, Mueller said he can't indict a sitting president, but he basically said he did break the law. I just can't do nothing about it.
Are you guys old enough to remember the Clinton impeachment trial?
Yes. I've read about it.
I mean, he got impeached over lying about oral sex in the Oval Office. The standards that they're applying to Trump versus Clinton, they're mind-blowing.
Completely.
That was a marital problem, what Clinton had. That was not hurting national security. If anything, it might have helped it a little bit. It might have cooled his jets.
And they started that impeachment trial not focusing on that issue. They started on something very vague. I can't remember what it was. But they started looking at something way off in the distance on Clinton. They came to the
No pun intended.
The affair that Clinton had. The standards are ridiculous.
Now we know that Trump is gonna get acquitted. That it's just the writing's on the wall, and I lay some of that blame upon the Democrats in the House because they narrowed the impeachment process to just what happened in Ukraine.
True.
They could have broadened it to the emoluments clause. They could have broadened it to
asking for foreign interference in our domestic elections. That's pretty serious to me.
That they could have broadened it to the 10 instances of obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Robert Mueller. No one talks about that anymore.
They could have added, and they don't talk about it anymore. And Trump got away with it. He broke the law. They said they can't indict a sitting president, but you sure as hell can impeach him for it. All right? I mean, that you should definitely have put that in there.
They should not have narrowed it just to the Ukraine incident.
But they were afraid that the whole impeachment trial was going to work in Trump's favor. But I think that was the biggest thing with Nancy Pelosi talking about, if we do an impeachment on Trump and he wins, it's going to embolden his base, everything like that. But I think they definitely should have put all that in there.
Don't you guys get the feeling that these centrist Democrats really pull their punches? Like,
oh, yeah.
If it was a bunch of our people in there, we would have nailed them to the wall, like a long time ago, and we would have been as ruthless as the Republicans are. But these centrist Dems, it's been frustrating me my whole life.
They're constantly trying to get the Republican vote.
I think that's what it is. 100%.
Think they can flip flop over to their side, and they're like, "We don't want to cross that line with them. Cross the damn line, okay? What are you holding up for?"
I don't know if you guys are Game of Thrones fans, but did you ever see that meme with Cersei Lannister? She said, "I really wanted those elephants," and that's like every centrist or every centrist Democrat like pandering to the right wing. You're gonna get all of no votes.
Mm-hmm.
But the right wing they do fool them though. I'll give them that. They'll say, "Oh, if you would have just been a little less left, we totally would have voted for you." Bullshit. You were never getting that right wing vote.
Yep.
Maybe back in the day, maybe. But now it's so one. You either here or you're here. The right wingers aren't voting for Democrats. They're completely. We love Trump, and we're gonna vote. I mean, there's a good percent of Trumpers who are like, no matter what Trump does, we're going to vote for him.
He has, the last poll I saw, a 90% approval rating in the Republican Party.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't think it was that high. I thought it was much
lower. Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to bring in the whole Hillary Clinton situation where Hillary is coming out with a 4-part documentary in which she says nobody likes Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
And conservatives are starting to see Bernie as the major threat to Trump's presidency, to where they're siding with Hillary Clinton. What's wrong with that situation?
God. She has been their antichrist for 20 years. I think they even still hated her more than they hated Obama. And due to their nascent racism, that they really hated Obama. But
well, now even Obama seems like he's heading into the camp to rally against Bernie.
Oh yeah, he's already said he was going against Bernie. Like
they're terrified.
I think I liked Obama at some point.
Oh, bro, trust me,
I did.
He breaks my heart too. I was going to college parties, handing out Obama literature. I was that guy in my early 20s.
I still love Obama just because of Michelle, but I mean, yeah.
Can we all agree that if a president is going to force diplomats to go to a hotel, it shouldn't be one that's riddled with bed bugs?
Right.
At least if you're going to do quid pro quo, send them to a nice hotel. Don't send
them to a place
that's
Trump hotel.
Yeah.
No.
And then all the documents come out that they're being overcharged or not getting the services. At least if you're going to make use of your position, do it the right way. Do customer service first.
If you went to one of Trump's properties, wouldn't you kind of expect all of what you just mentioned?
Oh, real quick. I know you guys are going off on that. But just to bring it back to the impeachment situation. So we talked about how they're talking about Schiff is making the argument against Trump, how he broke the law, and he's using the Vladimir Putin quotes against him, everything like that. One of the biggest problems that have come out of this is Mitch McConnell stonewalling, saying, "Hey, we are not going to allow any more witnesses to come forward." There are clear. Mick Mulvaney is one of the hugest ones who needs to come forward, who was subpoenaed by the House, who said no. That's actually, isn't it illegal
How can
say
you
no
do that?
against a subpoena against the House of Republicans?
It's supposed to be.
It should be.
It's
supposed
insane.
to be. And they said no. I mean, Donald Trump told these guys, or the Republican Party said, "Hey, don't go up there and testify." What are they so afraid of? I know they're afraid.
Yeah,
they're gonna give away
When
the whole bag.
when you ignore a congressional subpoena, they're supposed to send the sergeant at arms to go and apprehend that person and force them in. What the hell is going on?
That also speaks to the ineptness of the Democrats in the House. They didn't push the issue.
Like I said,
And
man, they
the
take the
leverage. I think I mean, they broke the law. Go get them on trial. They need to say something.
Right.
Without that testimony, you still got a lot of evidence against him. But without that testimony, you don't. I feel like that could seal the deal if you had him come up and testify. And Mr. McConnell's like, nope, we're not doing it. No, we just got to get through this, let Trump get off, and, that'd be this.
Well, the establishment always tells us, well, if you don't have anything to hide, why won't you submit to this or submit to that?
Right,
It's all for us. We can never say no. We're not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But then the people at the very top, it's like, well, it's different when you're up in this rarefied air.
Or if you're a cop, no, you can't drug test me, and our union's going to fight it tooth and nail. Well, why? And then all of a sudden you're seeing 50% of the cops are looking like they're jacked on roids. It's like, man, that's weird how that works.
The hypocrisy is ridiculous. It's so extreme on the Republican Party side, man. Man, that Mitch McConnell, he's such a piece of shit, man. He's just look at everything that he's doing, man. He is just horrible. And I think he's worse than Trump. I mean, you got so many people who are on the right wing, Republican side that are worse than Trump. You got Mitch McConnell, you got Pence. I mean, they're all just worse than Trump. But Trump is still right in bed.
Like they could immediately.
Oh,
they could McConnell could put an end to this immediately.
And Pence would get in, and he's like the arch conservative. He should be their wet dream. So I don't know why they don't just do it.
Make them look bad. I mean, it goes down.
Really
it's already gone down in history. He's been impeached. Trump's been impeached.
Yeah.
So, Republican president has been impeached by our House. If he were to be completely taken out of office, I mean, that's a pretty big scar on the Republican Party.
But their side doesn't see it that way anymore. They're just like, oh, these are just the Democrats playing their games. If anything, it just makes them more popular.
That's always how they push it. Like, they're just saying, like, they're playing games. You're playing games. What do you mean? You've been playing games this entire time. That's all that you do. This is all just a game to you on how you can make more money. This is Monopoly to them.
I think it hurts Trump's ego more than it hurts I think that's going to be the lasting legacy of this, is that there's always going to be that asterisk on his presidency, and that's going to drive him nuts forever.
I don't know if you guys heard this, but George W. Bush, he asked, what was the low point of your presidency? And this is a man that had, the Iraq War, 9/11, Katrina, and he said it was when Kanye West said that I don't care about black people.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
yes!
like when I said to forgo about his podcast, and everybody was like, you know what, out of all these important issues, the only thing he's going to remember is that you insulted his podcast.
So bringing it back to the Trump thing, I agree, all this stuff has happened, but this is and even more specifically, when Pelosi did that little hand clap, I bet that still just chaps his ass.
Well, yeah, because he's getting tagged in memes with it 5 million times, and he's reading every single one.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. So the impeachment trial's going on. They're talking it out. Mr. McConnell's not letting any new witnesses come forward, so they're just using the evidence that they got during the House impeachment trial. And it's gonna be Trump is gonna get off. He's gonna get off with breaking the law as the president of the United States, the person who should hold the highest morality in the country. is going to get off with being the most immoral piece of shit. And it is what it is. We have to get, if we want our laws and our Constitution to actually matter, we'll have to get these people out of office.
We have to make them apply to everybody.
Right.
Just because you're an elected official should, like you said, should be held to a higher standard. So you shouldn't be able to say, listen, you can't do anything to me. I can break the law, but because I have this magical title, like they should be held to the exact same rules that we are.
The Constitution is supposed to be pretty ironclad. I mean, this is the law. This is the Constitution. You cannot break this. To say that a president, because he's our president, can do it, it's horrible. It's completely immoral. So they're going to allow him to get off. They're 52 Republicans in the Senate. They're going to all vote for it, and Donald Trump's going to get off. I'd be surprised if even one votes for the impeachment. It's completely divided. They are saying that Donald Trump can break the law as much as they want to, as much as he wants to, and it's completely fine because he's on their side. He's one for the 1%. It is completely rigged. It is bad. It is terrible. We have to get these Republicans out of office and not put any centrist Democrats in there either. Right. We need to get some progressive people in there so that we can actually change the country into a place that's good for everyone and not just the super wealthy.
Right. We need like 20 steps forward, not a half step and then 10 steps back again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not casting a vote for anyone that's to the right of AOC.
Well, then you got one. You got one vote to cast.
All right, guys. So that's the impeachment trial. On to the next subject that we will be talking about is local protests and the current ones that we've had and any ones that are coming forward. Maybe how to do it. If you're scared to do it, please come out and do it. Mm-hmm. We need as many bodies as possible. I mean, if we want to get senators out of office and we want to start, the conversation, we have to get out there and make ourselves known. Even when it's 20 degrees out and it's snowing. I mean, they play that. They use that to their advantage. I mean, if the weather's bad, they're like, okay, let's have this meeting right now because we know people aren't going to be out there. You have to be out there. We have to protest. We have to let them know that we are not going to settle for less anymore. We want what we want. We will not allow you to take advantage of us anymore.
Or we're at least going to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when we're on the news and we're in the paper and on social media, a lot of the stuff we've done has gotten some pretty good traction.
It really has.
As that grows, our direct influence is going to grow. And people start to realize, like, hey, there are people out there fighting, and I think people don't want to be the one of like 3 people out on the corner.
Yeah, you know about that, though. Mark, you've been out there protesting by yourself, letting people know the corruption that's going on in this city. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid to even get out there by yourself. I remember seeing a meme where it's like the entire group is going to the right, and a lot of people just want to follow the wave. But be that person who's going to go to the left and say, hey, this isn't okay.
And we're at a good point because, and I don't know, there may have been people that protested before me. I'm sure somebody did. But everywhere I went, no one knew how to handle a protester.
Well, I can tell you from what I've heard from other DSAs, Decatur was known as a dead zone. The last time there was any kind of major protesting here was I think it was in the 90s, the Staley lockout, early 90s. That was it, man.
Yeah.
Every community around us has had more activism than us. We've had such a downtrodden working class, and now our generation, we're fired up. We're getting referenced by people that I never knew, people that have followings, people that are very well respected in the community has talked about us. I was at church one day, UU, and the speaker talked about how we were his heroes. I was like, I'm here. and thank you. And I'll just say, these protests are fun. Even when it's freezing out, everyone's real friendly. And even the hostility we get, it's not that big of a deal.
And we just laugh about it.
It'll probably get worse, though. I mean, the hostility, because we're going to be out there. and we're gonna get more people to come out there,
Yeah.
and we'll get a lot of pushback against the right wing once we actually get people who understand that the corruption that's going on.
We'll get a lot of pushback on the radio. We might get a little pushback on social media. I refuse to believe that they're going to come out and meet us head on in the streets on a consistent basis because I think they're a bunch of cowards. I think they're apathetic. I think it's different to talk big on Facebook. I think it's a whole different thing to come out and stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Because
especially when you know you're wrong.
Right. Well, yeah. But I mean, it's just. I think also people are starting to look. It's a little bit safer environment because, like, the first time I protested at the library, they literally got 3 police officers to come. So I was on a corner and I had 3 police presence, like within 30 feet of me, that stayed by me the entire time I was there.
And that being said, don't let the police intimidate you.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest game plan with the right wing. Like, let's call the police on somebody and let's get them intimidated. I understand the intimidation factor. I was pulled out over just the other day over something stupid, and I felt so intimidated when that police officer came up to my car. I was afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, so just try and stand your ground, and you know, you are the citizen, they are the public, official. I mean, just stand your ground. Don't let them intimidate you. All right, and if they are intimidating you, maybe call a friend. Get somebody else over there. Don't go at it by yourself, right?
I think personally, because we have a right in Illinois to film the cops. I think every single person that knows that they're innocent should hit Facebook Live immediately. That way, all their friends can watch.
Yep.
They can, if something shady goes down, they can have a lawyer there in fucking minutes. You know, protect yourself.
That's what I had to do. I mean,
Yeah.
the library contacted the
Yeah.
police, made up a bunch of false charges, and I was like, you know what? I have to have my camera on constantly.
Yeah,
Like, I don't have a choice.
There's so much history of cops just making whatever they want up. And just getting away with whatever the hell they want to.
And hey, you know, if they've got nothing to hide, those police,
Right, exactly.
they shouldn't be afraid of a little transparency.
And to be fair, I have protested a lot. I even protested at the Devon, and I've never had a cop like tell me that I had to leave. It was always some member of management at the place where I was protesting or something like that. So I think the police are aware, like, at least in Decatur for now.
They respect free speech.
Right. Well, and I think more to the point, they don't want a bunch of lawsuits.
Yeah, okay, they respect. Hey, I'll take it.
Exactly.
As long as they're not infringing on our rights, hey, you know.
So, what's the protesting law? I mean, you know about protests. I mean, where can you go up to somebody's house and just protest them? If
I
you want
wish.
to?
I wish. I would be doing that constantly.
Go up to Mayor Wolf's house and be like, "Hey, step down.
Go have another drink, Merriman Firefly."
It's not a state law because before I really got going, I looked at some other similar situations, and they actually did go and protest in the neighborhoods. Now, we could go to her neighborhood and hand out flyers, but residential picketing is not allowed. I don't know whether it's Decatur or it's Macon County, but any public sidewalk that's not in a residential area, you should be fine in. I mean, I've never, run into any legal issues from it, and I mean, I've protested a bunch of places.
Yeah.
And like it's been mentioned, DSA is about the only game in town when it comes to activism. There are some other individuals, but as far as a group that's dedicated to it, I believe the DSA is it.
And we're full service. If you want the social aspect of it, you can come and meet with us. You can come to the sign making parties.
Yeah.
Then you can go out and do it. If you're just super busy and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to show up. You can do that. If you say I can't be there, but I want to Venmo somebody $10 to help out with the sign cost. So whatever your level of engagement that you want at that time, we can facilitate that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because there's so many ways to support it, even if you don't want to show up. Like you said,
that you don't want to, but you can't. A lot of people just can't.
Or just share it. Just share it on Facebook.
Like
That's
and
a
share.
huge deal for us.
Absolutely.
Get the word out. Let your friends know. Hey, this is something important over here going. They're protesting war. They're protesting anti-LGBTQ. Where they're protesting the impeachment or something along those lines. Anything. I mean, let them know. Hey, they're doing something important over here. And the more bodies that we have, the better it will be. Half of it is showing up. We just need you there to let people know that hey, this is a serious issue that people care about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't show up, and if they just see like 3 people out there, honestly, half time is like, oh, it's only 3 people. That if we had half of Decatur at this protest, they could never ignore that. One big protest that I remember seeing is what was in China. They had like 1 million people show up in the street, stop work, stop everything, get out there on the street. They changed the law like the next day. They're like, we can't do this. This is what they want, and they control it. We are the citizens of this city, of this state, of this country. If we get out there and we protest, they're going to change things. It's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get camaraderie out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're doing something. A lot of people I know have felt like they had like this impotent rage where there's just so much wrong with society and there's nothing they could do. Yes, you can. You can do things. Come out with this.
Is that why you like Obama? Because the yes you can. Is that what really got you? Yes you can. Yes we can.
Sure.
And another thing that I like about our protest compared to some of the other ones that I've seen here, but some I've seen other places, is that ours are aggressive. I mean, like, we're not out there with general terms. Like, our signs are very specific to the issues that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, we're not out there like just give peace a chance. We're saying like, look, Trump for Gulag. Which I like.
I liked that one. Yeah, Trump for Gulag. I liked my Trump wind ? But
Or like for the local stuff, like, and I've gotten so much heat over it, but I think now they're just kind of more used to it. But naming people was a huge deal when I started this. Like, they thought that they could arrest me for saying their names.
They're public officials.
Right.
I can say Dan Calkins all day. That could be the only 2 words I say all day. They can't do anything. How's your day, Dan Calkins?
And if you're out there and you're like, well, I don't want to incur the wrath of Rodney Davis, there are many of us in line before you, so just go ahead and join. Yeah. It'll be a long time before he makes his way to where you are.
Yeah, it's just like how anyone says like they're afraid of Buffett. I say, just look at Brad Stewart. If that dude's still alive, you're fine. You are fine.
I'll never forget that time with the council. I would have thought it was almost like he was so animated about it. And he even did like the finger guns, and he's like turned to the cop and he's like, how do you feel when you go to work? And he walks in and he says, I'm your boss now because my daddy said so. I'm the sheriff.
That was pretty good. That was ballsy, man.
I think the most ballsy comment I've ever heard was from you. And it was something we had actually talked about, as wanting to say something about the police, but we were all like,
yeah.
And then you went up and you were like, I disagree with Mr. Horn. I think we need less police.
Oh, yeah, man. I don't need those
like,
homemade cops in my life, man. I'll be honest and transparent. The reason I got pulled over was because I had an expired sticker on my car. One, I absolutely cannot stand having that the whole idea that I have to pay our government to have a sticker on my car, and I get in trouble if I don't have it up to date, pisses me off to no end. I mean, it's not helping me. I mean, a lot of people say, I mean, of course, you get into it, you pay for these tags and everything for, that you can help the roads and help this and help that. But, I mean, I'm paying to have you track me to be able to know who I am. It pissed me off.
And if that sticker falls off, this is the part that gets me, is if that sticker falls off to no fault of your own, even though you're street legal and you're paid, they can give you the exact same ticket for not displaying it. Even though when they run your plates, it will say this person is up to date and in compliance with the law, they can still ticket you for it.
I just think the whole reason they stopped sending like people notice in the mail so they can pull more people over for it. Just stop as many people as you can. See if they have anything on them. See if you can get any arrest out of it. The more arrests, the better.
But that's the more the merrier.
More that we can give to the private prisons or prisons in general. It makes us money.
But back to the activism. We'll be over on the corner of Franklin and Eldo here Saturday at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. right in front of the Civic Center. So bring your funniest signs. Come join us.
Yeah, bring some coats. It will be cold, but what is it for? It's anti-war, isn't it?
This is gonna be an anti-war rally.
But we wouldn't turn you away if your sign is for something else. I mean, mine always Dan Calkins. My one I
That's
bring
true.
in, the next one's going to say Dildo Dan Calkins. That's all it's going to say. Dildo Dan Calkins.
Well, again, you guys just think about what that means, or do a little research. We're not going to explain it at all. Just know.
So whatever your issue is, as long as it's, in line with the greater view, don't bring like a pro-Trump sign. I mean,
No,
we'd prefer that you wouldn't, but...
Well, that might not go over well.
We'll be talking to you a lot if you show up with a pro-Trump sign.
It'd be like, you can stand over by the Shell station.
You're not necessarily. You're. I'm not saying you're not a friend, but I mean, we gotta talk to you a little bit about what's going on here.
Should we move on to the fun topic?
Yeah, definitely. So that was the protesting. Come out and protest. Help us protest as much as possible. We need people. We need manpower.
And just to tag on to that, it's not just us that's protesting. It's a national protest that's going on Saturday. Many cities across the country are protesting this conflict with Iran. So we just kind of jumped in on that to... any reason to have a protest is a good reason to have a protest.
Hey, we enjoy it.
Stand with us nationally. Let's make sure people know that war is not the answer.
No. The rich prosper, the poor die. And that's the way it's been since the first city-state was a thing. So that's why I'm anti-war.
Yeah. So on to a more local point. We want to talk about the Devon Amphitheater. Mr. Marc Gerler, he knows a lot about it. I've been there a few times. Actually, no, I think I've been there once. I went to watch the Sandlot with my girlfriend and a few friends sometimes. I made sure I grabbed a beer, because why not, right? Let's get drunk at the amphitheater.
Yep.
Right.
The thing that gets me about the Devon is the same thing that happens to a lot of these things that Buffett does. It's something that, while it's moderately useful to our community, it's presented as how could you ever besmirch this guy? And I mean, even a person on Facebook said, have you driven by the lake lately? Like, I'm going to get in my car and then see the 157th place to see a washed-up nostalgia act or some cover band. Like, these are bands that, if we're realistic, we would have been able to see for free 3 or 4 years ago at the Celebration. Three Dog Night, fine. That's got some name recognition, but that's someone we would have seen for free. Now that's completely gated off. You can't go to that anymore for free. No. And you can't go to the Devon for free.
It's for the West Enders and the South Shores. Just like I said in the last episode, Chuck Cool's Tennis Club. It's targeted toward the upper 5% of Decatur. That's also who they run their government for, too.
True.
Right. And there's so many things about it that just really piss me off when I really think about it. Like, you've got Buffett presented as the patron saint of DUIs. Yet, the Devon Amphitheater serves alcohol. If these acts are so great, why do they need alcohol there? Especially for a guy that's so concerned about it. I've personally protested at the Devon. I have seen the people come out of there. They are falling over. Maybe maybe they're driving, maybe they're not. But, I mean, Uber drivers have talked about it on Facebook, about just picking up drunk person after drunk person. The city council made a huge deal, and I don't know if this was pre-cannabis town hall or not, but I think it was the mayor or Kuehl, or maybe Lisa Gregory said, one thing I don't like about cannabis is that you can buy them in gummies. And that makes it like you're marketing it to children.
Oh, yeah.
And so I look at the Devon where they have alcoholic slushies. And I'm like, so explain to me the difference. Is Decatur the family town that we're being sold, or is it not? And the other thing about that is, and this was something Roger Robertson brought up on Facebook, he said that you can go to the Devon and get drunk at Howard Buffett's venue. His personal police officer will arrest you for that DUI and take you to Howard Buffett's rehab facility, where you can continue this circle forever.
Are you sure he's gonna get the Howard Buffett DUI officer, the vampire cop, is gonna pull him over for alcohol? They're looking for marijuana.
No,
they're not looking for alcohol.
No, he's gonna be in the black neighborhoods, harassing teenagers.
Oh, I guarantee he's not gonna be around Devon Amphitheater.
The cops,
he's paid to not be around there. Basically, he's being paid by Buffett Don't go around my theater. Come on now.
Right. And the cops that are at the Devon are like high-fiving people on the
Right,
I've been there and I've protested. Like I see it. I just think it's kind of hypocritical to be so. But again, if they were just intellectually honest and said, "Hey, we don't give a crap about alcohol DUIs," then it would be different.
Right.
The other thing with the Devon is that it's like you cannot speak ill of it. You can't. Like somebody on Facebook put more like one dog night on the Devon page, and the official Devon account answered and said, "No, 3 Dog Night is alive and well." No, they're not. There's one original singer that's appearing.
Oh, I thought it was their drummer.
Well, no, there's like it's not even the main guy. Like when you hear the voice, it's not the 3 Dog Night voice, but it's one of the original singers, and then I think one of an original guitarist, or maybe the singer plays guitar too, and like the drummer or something. But there's 2 original members. They're both about 80 years old. Wow. It's not 3 Dog Night.
Really out there still rocking.
I gotta be honest, I'm 36, and I don't think I've ever even heard of them.
I think I've heard of them once, maybe.
Wow.
They are at the time. It would have been okay, but it's not 3 Dog Night. Like you don't have
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yes, okay, I've heard 2 of their songs, but I don't think I've ever heard the words 3 Dog Night put together in a sentence. I don't.
Coming from the black community, I've never heard that shit.
And that's the big act.
Yeah, that's
the
like,
big act.
That's like what they're proud of.
Yeah, like the Oak Ridge Boys.
No, wait a minute. They had Brian McKnight one time, and I was like, I want to go see that. I didn't go do it, but I was like.
But even that is like they're banking heavily on like '90s nostalgia to bring people in for that, which is fine. But don't tell me that this is a world-class venue.
Have they used those words?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow,
world-class talent.
That's not
okay. Yeah. We're gonna start seeing relevant bands make a stop in Decatur now. Like they're not gonna go to Peoria anymore, or Champaign, where they always went. They're gonna come to the Devon.
There's no one who has performed at the Devon that I couldn't see performing at the Macon County Fair. We're not even getting Illinois State Fair level talent there. The Oak Ridge Boys, I saw them at like. Do any of you remember Celebrate America? It was like a free event from that church across from Richland. Yeah, it was a pretty big event. I mean, it was a huge event. Sure. But they had the Oak Ridge Boys back when like people would at least kind of remember them. And now you have this small pocket of people, and I think it's just because it's Decatur and people want something to do. I don't think I think it adds value to our community, but if you remove it, absolutely nothing changes. There's still a million places that you can go to see one guy from 3 Dog Night. There's a million. I think they should, if they're going to do it the way they're doing it, like get rid of the cover bands and start focusing on like up and coming talent and give people like help give people a break instead of being like, because that guy they had that was supposed to be Freddie Mercury in that big cover. I mean, I didn't.
Me, I want to say I'm going to talk to ill the different. I don't like it myself. I liked having the nice. When I saw they were building that thing and they took away the playground, they took away the open space. I liked having the open space. I know around July 4th, we used to use that area as a barbecue. And just speaking from like the black community, because when I went there on July 4th, they were all out there having a good old time, and now all that stuff is gone. There's no open field there anymore. Well, it's the Devon now.
Because it was a free space.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could go there and use it.
Right.
That's the mortal enemy of the Julie Moores and Chuck Kuehls of Decatur.
Pay to play.
You can't even go. I don't care what anybody says. The reason the celebration gates off Central Park and the downtown area now isn't to get the $10 from the wrist bracelet. It's so that the people that are normally in Central Park and normally in that area are not allowed to be in there because they can't afford to buy the wristbands. I mean, think about what Chuck Kuehl says. My friends are eating in Central Park. They don't want to see poor people.
True. I don't go to this.
I think it should be illegal to gate off Central Park and charge people to get in there. I think it's asinine.
It should be. That's public property. That's public land. Everybody owns that. Not just Chuck Kuehl and his tennis club.
I never thought about that. I mean, if it's public land, you shouldn't be able to have to make people pay to get there.
And it would be different if it was a low traffic area. But Central Park is where a lot of the less fortunate and homeless in our community go because, especially during the summertime, because you can cool down by the fountain. That's something I hear all the time.
Right.
But the Devon is not the worst thing that's ever happened, but it's another example of how we don't get the full story on what Buffett's donating. It's presented as this great thing. It's not. It's like building a castle made of diamond and then just putting a turd in the middle of it. Like, it's great that we have this diamond castle. Now, what are we doing with it? And the what was it called? Splash Mountain, whatever, Splash Cove or whatever.
The new water park thing?
Yeah. I think that's going to be like a lot of things in Decatur where it's immensely popular for like 2 or 3 years, and then the park district just decides like, hey, this is a lot of work. We don't want to upkeep this thing. And then
We must have the worst park district in the country. I had an old timer at ADM once tell me all the projects they've turned down, and there's things that would have revolutionized Decatur. ADM was going to build a ski park for free.
Ash Mountain.
Park?
Oh,
Yeah,
you remember here?
Yep.
For free. And they said no, we don't want none of that.
For free?
Yes.
And
We
city
can go
council currently is
skiing
always
right
talking about
now,
money.
guys. We could be doing this podcast on top of Ash Mountain.
Yep.
Oh, they had to think of all the more fun stuff I could be doing,
Right.
but they said no. Come on, I would have loved to have gone skiing. I've never gone skiing in my life.
There's
Oh,
going to
that's
be
crap, man.
the country's the country's biggest indoor water park that was proposed for the West End across
Really?
from the what's now the Decatur Conference Center. That was turned down. I can't remember who was responsible for that, but I'm just saying, in brief, there's been a lot of mismanagement in this city, and it's not just the city council's fault.
no.
It's been a team effort, guys, and boy, have they really did a number.
What
on
I
us.
would like to see from one of these Buffett-type characters, whether it's him or Elon Musk comes to town, whoever, and they've got money, give us something that everybody can use.
Yes.
So many kids are going to have to go without using that water park. There's so many people who would like to go see, one of these music acts just one time during the season, just see one group, and they can't. Because people don't understand that even if it's only $5 or $10, if you've got yourself and your significant other and your 3 kids, that adds up a lot. Like, give us things for families to do. Or if you like the space you were talking about.
Yeah.
Or like when they had all that cool wooden playground stuff.
Yeah,
like,
all
that
the
was
playground
awesome.
Stuff. That was great. The little open field, I remember throwing a football across the place. And that whole little kids just having a little fun, having fun with their parents, having fun with their family. I mean,
And
you can't do that there.
I had one of my relationship first at that park. I'm not gonna get explicit, but
Oral.
No, we're not.
That's what it is.
That's not happening. Is it? He's very good.
Not right now.
we're not gonna confirm anything. But
I'll put in a FOIA.
Oh man, yeah, Devon, I'm not.
that was
a fan.
Marc Girdler speaking, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not sure if I shouted you out.
No. That's all right.
But yeah, I think that might wrap up our episode of Progressive AF. Come back and listen to us again whenever you want to. We'll be putting out another episode next week. We will be talking about more progressive topics. We will talk about anything maybe more popular that's going on during the week. Hopefully Trump is impeached by then, but we don't think it will be.
Hopefully.
Well,
Well, he's already impeached.
Oh, he is impeached. But
Yeah.
But
Hopefully he's
impeached
dead.
with quotes. So hopefully, but it won't happen. But thank you for listening to us. We hope you listen to us next week.
Oh, hey, and please like our page and share to all your friends, except for the Trumpers.
No, to the Trumpers. Okay, we need them on our. We need to convert them. God damn it. We need to have them.
Oh,
Okay, we
they're
are on
not
the right
coming.
side,
They're
Trumpers.
not
Come
coming
on.
to us.
Come on, man.
There's no chance.
Just
They're
listen-
lost.
I like the trolls. I'm sorry. I like
You like the trolls?
messing with the
All right, all right. Bring the Trumpers too. I got outvoted.
Yeah, guys. Listen to us, like us, share us. We love you. Good night, Seattle.